everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path. I am back from church and I'm ready to do this final tag for this Sunday. Sorry, I got something in my eye again. And I'm a little croaky. I guess it must just be allergies. Now, this is the tag that Heather and I came up with together, and it's called Box Office Tops and Flops. And so it's really simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the top 5 highest rated videos that I have, and I'm going to post them. I can't figure out how to do a fancy screenshot to get them all together because it all happened, at different times. And then I'll do the lowest ones, and I'll post those too so that you guys can review and see what you think, if they actually deserve the highest or the lowest. I actually have 6 on the highest because my highest, a lot of them got the same amount of views for some reason. And so, I had to pick between 2 or 3. So I have 6 here, but I will mark them. I'll put them up there. I am so sorry about my eye. Oh, goodness. Okay. Twitch has entered the room. And now we're going to have to do some Twitch baiting. Here she comes, and there she goes. Okay, I'm back. So here we go. Let's do the box office tops first. My very first video coming in with the most views in the 800s, I don't have any that go over this one. So don't look for any thousands of views or anything. Was my John Dickinson car. When I showed my collection of my John Dickinson car books, and we talked about his career and the locked room mystery and my favorites of his and everything, I think that one went so high because even though he's niche, he is pretty niche, he is pretty popular. And if you know, you know. And I think that just by doing that deep dive on him and showing off all of those locked room mysteries that I had and everything like that to the people that really appreciate classic mysteries and want to learn more about them, and I think that was why I got the most views on that one. Number 2. Sneaking around the Skirvin Hotel. Now that one nearly got me in trouble. It nearly got me thrown out of the hotel. And because I was walking around and I was showing it off and everything like that. And I think that one gets a lot of views for obvious reasons. People want to know about the Skirvin Hotel before they go to Oklahoma City. And here's this chick walking around with her camera out, almost getting thrown out. But I mean, we were staying there, but I was walking around the Skirvin, and I don't know that they appreciated it that much. But that one's pretty easy to define why everyone liked that one. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get my hair a little bit less disgusting. Okay, number 3, my deep dive into Mary Stuart. That one, I think, again, had to do with a niche author that, if you know, you know, people love her and people collect her. She's very collectible. And she's romantic suspense, and who doesn't love that? And I showed off my collection of that, and I had some great little, I had a little picture of Audrey Hepburn and a little picture of, stewardesses flying on a Pan Am and everything like that. And I think that one had great graphics, and I think it was just the niche authorness of it. Okay, number 4. It's Hip to Be Square. It's Hip to Be Square is all about Emily Loring. And I think that one was not so much because it was a niche author. I'm seeing a pattern that the ones that have gotten the highest views are the ones where I focus on one thing and I don't get distracted. But I think It's Hip to Be Square was really me talking about my values and what I thought about my values in relation to this author. I think that's why it got a lot of good reviews, or a lot of views. I don't want to say good reviews, it just got views. Okay, so that was number 4, Tip to be Square. And again, number 5, another niche author, Mary Roberts Reinhardt. Again, I focus on one thing, I do a deep dive, and I get the views. But the problem is that there aren't that many authors anymore. I mean, I could do my Gothic literature stuff and everything like that, but isn't that just everywhere? Isn't that just everywhere? I think that the Mary Roberts Reinhardt, people didn't know so much about her. Like, people, again, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, then I think that these videos are very interesting because I give a little history of the author and kind of talk a little bit about their private lives or their personal lives and everything. And then I show my collections. I have a hair on my hands bothering me. Okay, and my honorable mention is, and now for something completely different. And that's when I read my diary to you guys. And that one got a lot of views. Just reading my journal entry got a lot of views. I have 2 out there that are titled the same thing, and now for something completely different. One where I'm reading, kind of the outlines of my short stories or my novels in process. And the other one, this one in particular, was when I was reading out of my journal. And I don't know if that was just so incredibly personal and made me so vulnerable. I don't know, maybe you guys were laughing your asses off about what I write in my journal, but that one was an honorable mention because that one got at least as many views as Mary Roberts Reinhardt. Okay, now for the lowest. The lowest of the low was reading at the OSU Center for Writers. I read a little short story at this pub, and it was just kind of a disaster. It was like the video was taken way far away, and the sound wasn't good, and I wasn't good. I was speaking too quickly, and my little short story about my dog I wrote about Moose just did not compare to these people that were writing about alcoholism and combating domestic violence and everything like that. I wrote about walking my dog, and it was just, I think it got the lowest views because we were like, oh, that poor thing, oh, that poor thing, and click it off. The next one, poetry pop-up, Billy Collins. I tried to be Pat from Book Chat with Pat, but I never can be because she's just too proficient and she's too polished. And when she does her Poetry Thursdays, it is spot on, I tell you. And so I wanted to do a Poetry Thursday too. I was like, oh, I want to do it too. And I did a Billy Collins one, which was a big floppy. I mean, it just flopped. I don't know if it was the poem or if it was me reading the poem or if people were just like, you're just trying to be Pat, Meg. You're just trying to be Pat and you can't be Pat. So that one got a lot of low views. Nurse River's Secret. For some reason, I read this book called Nurse River's Secret, and it was not bad. It wasn't a bad book or anything like that. I mean, I got to the end of the review and was laughing hysterically at what had happened at the end of the book, which doesn't really have anything to do with her secret, but I was laughing hysterically. And so I thought that people would enjoy it as much as I did. Wrong. People did not enjoy that one. Very low views on that one. And I think that one was because I was in a silly mood and I wasn't articulating well about the story, and then I got to laughing so hard I just looked like a freaking idiot. Okay, number 4, early morning book review, Moby Dick. That one probably got a lot of views, that one probably did not get a lot of views because people loved Moby Dick and I trashed it. I didn't trash it like it's the worst book ever, but I talked about how I couldn't read it and how I kept thinking about SpongeBob SquarePants, and I didn't do Melville justice. And so I think that was like revenge, not watching, because people originally maybe clicked on it and then word got out that I wasn't being very happy about it, and then they just didn't watch it. Nobody watched that one. But my all-time lowest was early morning book review, Junior Miss. And I think that was because I talked about the bad values of the parents in that book. And I got a couple of comments from people who had grown up in that age and had read that book and were like, what are you talking about? You know, they did not have bad values. It was different from what you were interpreting and everything. And I think that one I think the more, what do I want to say? Not the more negative, because none of these really had, like, Heather was very analytical when she did hers and everything. Maybe I just looked bad. Maybe that was it. Maybe just, people saw me hold up Junior Miss and they were like, oh God, Meg, another vintage, please, another vintage teen story. No, we're out. But anyway, those are my tops and flops. And so I have posted links to all the videos, hopefully with the correct timestamp. And I don't know exactly what to say after that, other than I'm going to tag a bunch of people. I want to know what your biggest ones were and what your lowest ones were and why you think it was like that. And thank you to Heather for doing this with me, and I will check you later.